There's something about Millville. Just when you think the championship chases are getting a little too predictable in the Lucas Oil Pro Motocross Championship, we're going to throw round 9 at you, and you're going to see some surprising shakeups, some surprising results, and some of the best racing of the year. It's all coming your way next. You know what it's called. It's the Racer X Motocross Show, presented by Motosport.com.
What's up? This is Trey Kennard. You're watching the Racer X Motocross Show.
Jason Weigandt here to take you through the highlights. Let's get to the 450 class. Moto number 1. Honda boys claim they have some revised setups. They want to go after the Ryans. James Stewart hoping to be a factor today as well. I'm giving away too much. Let's get the girl out of the way and go racing. MotorcycleSuperstore.com points on the line here in the start, and it is the Honda boys nailing it. Barsha with Kennard right behind him. Josh Grant momentarily bumped off the track. Stays in contention, and then, it's the Veronica Beach race. All these runners are down on the big sand dune, just trying to get around this grueling course. Up front, Barsha continues to lead Kennard. Dungey and now Stewart joining the pack. Where is Ryan Villapoto? Well, he went down just on the entrance of the sand whoops, a lap 1, and picked himself up in dead last. So the opportunity is there for one of these guys to grab the moto win. Here is Villapoto going to work, 28th after the first lap. He would eventually rally all the way back to 6th. Worst moto finish of the year for your series points leader. Up front, Dungey stalking the Honda duo of Kennard and Barsha. Dungey has won 5 straight overalls here at his home track in Minnesota. It looked like he was in line to do it again. But there was something special in those Hondas today. They were not pushovers. Then there's Stewart, Short, and Grant battling it out for a piece of the top 5 right behind them. Meanwhile, Villapoto, boys, he got his work cut out for him. I mean, he was only 15th about halfway through this race. It appears he's going to give up buku points to Dungey, who surely is going to roll these guys and get a moto win, right? Well, Stewart, Kennard, and Barsha were hanging tough, and then Dungey would actually make a mistake. Stewart would take over the number 3 spot, and Dungey loses a bit of ground. So now Dungey back to 4th behind Stewart, and you got this Short-Grant battle. Listen, that's actually Short screaming at Grant as they came together in that corner. Then things go from bad to worse for Dungey. He would derail a chain and drop out of the top 10. So now the battle for the moto win is on between these 3. Stewart pulls the trigger on Kennard for 2nd in the sand whoops. He had a line dialed. Next lap, cuts inside and uses the momentum to pass Barsha for the lead. Same spot he got around Kennard. You know Barsha's not going to take this one lying down. He comes right back after Stewart. It actually looked like Barsha and Kennard were faster all the way around the track except for the whoops. So Barsha's right on Stewart with 3 to go and almost throws it away. That puts Kennard into 2nd. Assume the position and then assume not who's going to win this one, because it was a wheel-to-wheel battle, probably the best moto of the year. Look at Kennard doing everything he can to get Stewart for the moto win. That's the finish. That close. Stewart wins by half of a bike length. They high-five each other. They chatted it out. They had a good time. Barsha holds on for 3rd. Grant 4th, Dungey 5th, Villapoto 6th. 450 moto number 2. Dungey and Villapoto hoping to rebound. Remember, Dungey had to put his chain back on to even get 5th in the first moto. But they've got trouble on their hands because another good start for Stewart. This time, MotorcycleSuperstore.com whole shot. Dungey is 2nd, Josh Grant 3rd. Grant quickly goes around Dungey and then crashes, putting Dungey back to the number 2 position. So now it's a strategy battle for the overall. You've also got Alessi, Kennard, Barsha in the hunt. You do not have Villapoto in this mix. Terrible start for him. He is about 20th through the first couple of corners. We'll just hold the camera here, and we're waiting and waiting. And there's Reed and Stewart and Weimer, and finally Villapoto. So he's got his work cut out for him. Dungey's trying to work Stewart. Once again, though, it is not easy. Stewart is on the pace today. Same thing with Kennard and Barsha. They are giving Dungey all he can handle. Here's Dungey trying to sneak attack on Stewart. Nice try to bump him right behind the tree, but we saw it. That's a straight-up pass, bumping Stewart a little bit. He said he actually apologized to him after the race for that. Didn't know they were going to come together. Stewart, remember that awesome line to the sand whoops we showed in the first moto where he was able to get Barsha and Kennard? Well, he had that in his back pocket. And once Dungey got back around him, there's Villapoto now within sight of the lead group. Watch, Stewart is going to repass Dungey in the whoops. Takes the lead back for a 2nd time. While they are dueling, you've got Barsha and Kennard starting to roll up on them. Here's Dungey trying to take it away from Stewart. Stewart riding the wide Yoshimura Suzuki, and finally Dungey finds a line, squaring him up at the bottom of the hill to take over the lead. Villopoto, by the way, would have a second crash after that first Moto 1, and that would push him back into 6th behind Alessi. He'd have to work his way back forward even to get to the number 5 position, not the Moto that he wanted. Dungey starting to slip away from Stewart, but Stewart, with 1-2 scores, would still have the overall until Kennard decides to put in another strong charge. Here's Villopoto just a little bit too far back to be a factor after a couple of mistakes. Surprising to say that about old RV. Then Barcia goes backwards. He makes an error. Kennard and Villopoto both get him, and we're back to another spectacular Kennard and Stewart battle. This time it is for second. See, Villopoto got close, but Kennard and Stewart were pushing each other so hard he couldn't make up the ground. Watch this. Kennard down to the inside. Passes Stewart. They go up the hill. They come right back down. This is the same lap. Stewart goes to the inside of Kennard and takes second place back away. You think that's good? It's going to get even better. Watch the double scrubs over the double that's coming up next. It does not get any closer than that. Now, Kennard is riding the race of his life because he thinks that pass on Stewart is going to be good enough to take the overall win. But actually, Stewart is going to edge him by 1 point. So you got a fist pump from the Moto winner, Dungey, a fist pump from Kennard, who thinks he has it, and a fist pump from Stewart, who actually has the overall. Hey, Trey's just happy. It's still his best race of the year, finishing second, Dungey third, and James Stewart is your overall winner for the first time this year. Villopoto, 4th in this Moto, 6th in Moto 1. He loses 8 points to Dungey on the day. On to the 250 class. How does Wilhan get these starts? Well, you can't figure it out because he wears the dark lenses. I can't see what's in his eyes. What's rolling through the mindset of Wilhan? He's so good at the start, the only way you can slow him down is to slow down the footage. Yeah, that's right. Another MotorcycleSuperstore.com hole shot for Wilbur. Guess who's in second, though? The home track specialist, literally, because he lives here. Jeremy Martin in second on the My Flash Star Racing Yamaha. Marvin Muscan, who had a big crash at this track on Thursday press day, sore shoulder and all, is third. Soon, though, Ken Roxon making tracks toward the front. He would get to third. Then there's this spectacular battle between Muscan and Anderson right behind him. Roxon is just in beast mode right now. He's going after Martin. Almost runs into the back of him here. Keeps squaring up the rookie to try to take over the number 2 spot. Then Martin has Hahn right in front of him. So he's trying to figure out a way to take over the lead. Roxon's trying to figure out a way to pass him for second. Then you got Muscan, Bogle, and Anderson right behind. Finally, Roxon takes over the number 2 position, and then things change in a hurry. We're watching the battle behind, and then suddenly Roxon is on the ground, and he suddenly realizes he is hurt, and the championship points lead is going to go away. Let's show you what happened. It just literally looks like he hits a landmine. He doesn't really know what happened. I even asked him after the race. He said it just happened so fast. So Roxon is out of this moto, knocked the wind out of himself. Martin is going for the lead. And the crowd goes berserk when he finally gets it from Will Hahn. Now he's leading laps at his home track. That's the good news, but I do have some bad news. Eli Tomac started about 10th in this one and was on a rail from the back again. And soon he's going to be a factor in this one. He's got Muscan and Anderson in his sights on the number 17. Then he starts making passes. He's got Anderson. Now he's got Hahn. Next in line, Muscan. He's going to feel the hot breath of Tomac, who suddenly knows he's going to be the points leader by the time this one is over because Roxon is out. He takes over second. Got about 3 seconds to make up on Martin. Awesome to see Martin leading a bunch of laps here at Millville, but what can you say about Tomac? Animal. Just too crazy on these downhills. Martin, again, lives here and probably hasn't seen lines like that ever, and then Tomac takes off. He's just on another level right now. Martin rode darn strong for second, and finally Anderson would get around Muscan, winning that battle to take his first podium in a moto this year. Tomac's got 3 moto wins in a row. Also got a little bit of the sunglass tan going, as you'll see on the podium. Hey, a lot of sun in Colorado. The sun is shining on this guy. He is dominant the last couple of races. Moto number 2, I'm just going to lay out because you know who's going to get the whole shot. Yep, More MotorcycleSuperstore.com points headed to Will Hahn, who is dominating the standings. But hey, Jeremy Martin with a good start here, battling it out with Blake Baggett for second. Eli Tomac, a bad start, nowhere in sight. Perhaps the home track kids got a shot at the overall. And Roczen is back, starts about fifth, passes Musquin and Martin to get to third. Here's Tomac with some work to do. Baggett then takes the lead from Hahn. He's looking for his second moto win of the year. The defending champion looked good early. Roczen would get around Hahn as well to take over second. A great ride considering how hurt he is. And look, still Tomac pretty far back. But then he'd go to work. He would get Martin, who is not quite as strong in Moto 2 as Moto 1. Then he would get Anderson. Then he would get his teammate Bogle. Tomac just kept rolling. He was on the gas, but still has a long way to go to get Roczen. Then the battle up front changed with the weather. Once it started to rain, suddenly Roczen picked up the pace, and he is going to take over the lead from Baggett. This is improbable, considering we weren't sure if Roczen could even race the second moto at all, and that he had a horrible gate pick. He's leading laps. Bad news, though. The shark is in the waters. Tomac gets in sight of the lead, passes Baggett for the number 2 position, and now he's going after Roczen. This is such a pivotal battle in the championship. Roczen knows it. Even though he's hurting, he does everything he can to try to fend Tomac off. Tomac a little faster in the sand whoops, gets to the inside, takes the lead over from the 94. Credit to Roczen. For about 4 laps, he did everything he could to keep Tomac in sight. But in the end, the 17 just too strong. Now a battle for the other podium spots. Musquin, Anderson, Martin, in a 3-way tie on points for second, third, fourth overall. You also had Baggett in that mix going 6 and 3. The math is easy for the win. Eli Tomac goes 1-1 for the second straight week. Musquin's 4-4 is going to be enough to edge Anderson on the podium, but still Anderson in third. That's his first trip to the box this year. Martin fourth, Baggett fifth, and suddenly Eli Tomac has a 27-point lead on Roczen. He was down by 1 coming into today's race. So let's send it down to Georgia Lindsay with Eli.
We have the red plate holder, Mr. Eli Tomac. What a great weekend for you. You must feel a lot of pressure, just dropped off. Now you have that red plate.
Yeah, I mean, I was really close all season. We were a little bit behind at the start of the season, but we were just kind of creeping there the whole time, and kind of felt like momentum was going our way. So to make it happen today is awesome.
Obviously, Ken Roczen this weekend had a big crash in practice and in the first race, so he lost points then. But despite that, do you still feel like the red plate would have come, if not today, in a couple of races' time?
I think the way I rode today, I think it would have come today, really, because in that second moto I was able to go out there and make passes and even pass Kenny, for the lead. So I think I would have made it happen. I was only 1 point down, so you never know what would have happened in the first moto, but I thought I rode pretty well today.
Well, we speak to you every weekend after these wins, and you say, you get in the groove, you get in the feeling of it, and you're gone. And your fitness is such a huge part of the way you're riding right now. There's really nothing else you can do more right now. Just keep going and keep going when things out, and they are.
Yeah, I mean, you can always improve the bike, do this, do that, but really it's just being consistent, because the 12-round series turns into
what's interesting is his training
6
sessions
races
throughout the
left.
rest
That's
of the
it.
season might be a
Plan
little
is
easier
just keep being consistent, like you
because
said.
of that, John.
Well, congratulations, red plate holder, going into 2 weeks in time in Unadilla. Congratulations. This is the Racer X Motocross Show. I'm Georgia Lindsay, brought to you by motorsport.com.